Welcome to Sordid-Humor podcast. I am your host, Christian Joseph. This episode and every single episode is brought to you by Force Racing Company. FRC is a motorsports company. Motorcycles, that type of thing. Snowmobiles. If you need to purchase one of these, you can go there. If you need one worked on, you can go there. There's a lot of other big things in the works with this company, and there'll be more to come as far as the info on that later down the road. But if you do need a motorcycle or a motorcycle worked on, and you're in Northern California, I recommend John Peters at Forest Hill Racing Company. This episode, my guest is Alison Kenyon. I don't know if you know her or not. If not, you're about to. She's an amazing artist. She was on the show Skin Wars. If you've never seen Skin Wars, it's a show about artists who paint on canvases, and the canvases happen to be naked human bodies. So, yeah, they paint all kind of cool shit on these canvases. And she was, spoiler alert, she was one of the finalists. She was the runner-up. She came in second. I personally think she should have won, and I'm sure she does too, but it is what it is. Anyways, wonderful conversation I had with her, and we talked a lot about the show as well as her past and what brought her to become this amazing artist that she is. So here we go. Have fun, take a listen. Alison Kenyon. Awesome. Well, first of all, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it a lot. I'm kind of more curious. What have you always just been into art?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning. Let's start.
As long as I can remember,
as soon as
I can hold a pencil, I was always drawing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was an artist as a kid, somewhat of an artist. I kind of went away from it. I started with watercolors.
Those are hard.
Yeah, my mom was really into watercolors. I don't know if she has any. Sometimes everyone has pictures of hers. Oh, well, I don't see any. I did watercolors, and I went away from it. It just wasn't my thing. But, so what kind of art did you start with?
I just started with drawing, probably like most kids, and just would draw all the time. And then, started getting positive feedback all the time. Like, I didn't know, I was just drawing, but people would say, oh, wow, that's really good, and and then, like, starting to go to school, second, third grade, then I became the person the teachers would go to, like, hey, can you make us a for the wall? And,
right.
Or, I started entering, like, contests and things, and I always won the contests, and poster contest, I can't even remember. I think the first contest I ever won, it was something like the Orange Juice Council came to our school or something, and like went to all the schools in the district or in the state or whatever, and had all the kids design a poster to like represent the Orange Juice Council or whatever, and I won, and they used mine. I don't remember ever seeing it in an ad or anything, but I won a popcorn popper, and I was so excited about that.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, so would you go to school, art school after that, or like?
I did, and a little bit. Like I never finished. I didn't have a degree or anything, but getting a little bit older, still preteen, still grade school. My dad wanted to go take drawing classes at the adult after I don't know, adult school or whatever.
Right.
And so I started going with him to that, and like life drawing and figure drawing and things like that. So I kind of got a jump start on maybe college level stuff pretty young.
Right.
I don't know how great I was at it, but at least I started learning these concepts really early.
Like different techniques and stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started, in high school, I was like the crazy art chick.
Right.
And started going to Academy of Art for these summer, like you had to apply and get accepted to these summer semesters for they created for high school students. So I was doing summer semesters at Academy of Art in San Francisco.
Right.
When I was in high school, I thought that was like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, life drawing, figure drawing. I always tell people, a lot of people message me who've seen me on the show or whatever, like, oh, how do I start? What do I do? Da, da, da. And they want to jump right into like buying all the stuff and body painting. And I say, you got to start with take some drawing classes. Like you have to understand art first.
Yeah.
Like how to see things, how to translate a 3-dimensional thing into a 2-dimensional thing.
Yeah, don't go buy an airbrush right away.
Yeah. You gotta start with the basics. Like if you want to be good,
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just sort of copying what someone else does. You're not going to ever be able to create your own art. So
right.
That's always my advice. Take a life drawing class.
Right. Yeah. Well, kind of know what you're doing before you think. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
What? So how long has the whole body art scene been going on? Like honestly, I didn't even know it was a thing till.
Right. I really couldn't tell you because I've sort of kept myself in a little cocoon, just doing my own thing. Like there's a whole scene, and I'm just not tapped into it. Really. There's a few people I know that are like big shots in the world of body painting.
Right.
But I maybe I know like a tenth of what's out there.
Right.
And there's these competitions that happen. There's of course the World Body Painting Festival that just happened in Austria.
Oh right.
That's a big
thing.
One. Yeah.
That's the big one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done a competition other than the show.
Right.
Which is I'm going to jump a little bit, but the producer who asked me to be on the show said that was part of why she wanted me, was because I hadn't done any competitions and because no one really knew who I was. Oh. And in the scene.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
What unknown person.
What was that show originally on? It wasn't on Netflix originally, was it?
No, it was Game Show Network.
Game Show Network.
Random.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't know. Me and my girlfriend randomly came across it on Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah.
We're just like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, once they went on Netflix, that made a huge difference because no one watched Game Show Network.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any other lingo or something. Maybe isn't that the one they had on there? I don't even remember. Game Show Network.
Yeah. I think of Family Feud.
Oh, was that on there though? Did they have
Game Show Network? Yeah,
is it?
No, like the current one with.
Oh. What's his face?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Good old what's his face? I'll never forget.
Yeah, what's his face? He's a comic.
Yeah, the guy who hosted the last Miss America pageant.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah,
he's great.
And he's good on Family Feud.
Yeah, he's good.
But like every time I would turn on Game Show Network to try and find my show.
Yeah. Before you were on? When you were on?
Yeah, when I was wanting to watch the episodes. Because I'd always have to go to a restaurant because I don't have cable.
Right.
So I'd always have to go out somewhere to watch.
Right.
And it would be like...
I'm going to be on TV, guys, really.
Yeah.
It's here somewhere, I promise.
We would start... I started getting a little group of people together to go to the 3-in-1 Grill, Mongolian barbecue in Grass Valley.
Sure.
And we would all sit there at the bar with our Mongolian barbecue and watch the show.
Well, that's kind of fun, though.
Yeah. It was like little viewing parties, little mini ones. But if you would look, they would pull up the schedule at the restaurant, with their little remote, and it would be like Family Feud, Family Feud, Family Feud, Family Feud, Skin Wars, Family Feud, Family Feud.
Right.
It's like their flagship show, I guess.
That's funny. I didn't know that. But honestly, right away, that first episode of season 3, me and my girlfriend we both said, that's the girl that's gonna win.
Really?
Yeah, we're like, she's gonna win. And then my girlfriend's like, and look, she's from Grass Valley. Because my girlfriend's born and raised in Nevada County.
Okay.
I'm not, but she's proud of.
What made you think that I would win?
Oh, well, you were good.
Oh. Well, thanks.
Right? Obviously, you made it to the end.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I didn't think I was that. I didn't think I was that good. That first episode, especially, I was really I was in the middle of it. Like, you know how
Yeah, I think it's the clear lines. I think that's a big difference.
Have you ever sort of been spacing out, maybe driving,
sure,
right? And then you realize you're 10 miles or 20 miles past where you last remember it being, and you're like, how the hell did I get here?
Yeah.
It was like that. I'm on stage,
you're in the zone.
on set in the middle of painting this thing, and then I'm like, how the hell did I get here? What have I done?
Right.
How did I get myself into this? I felt really out of.
So that's what I was gonna say. Did you feel kind of out of your element?
Yeah, what am I doing here? I'm looking around at all these other amazing artists, and they were so good, and I just thought I don't belong here.
Yeah, well, there's some good artists, but I mean, we really, I'm not just saying it because you're in front of me. We really did. We're like, oh yeah, she's legit. So yeah, I was happy to see you at least get to the end.
Yeah, I got painfully close.
Yeah, painfully close. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That Rick guy's good. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You get to the end and there's 3 killers. What are you gonna do?
Right. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It got down to the oldest person there and the youngest person there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he was young, right?
Yeah, he was just turned 20.
Jeez. Well, good for him. Whatever. How's your experience with production? I mean, did you have a good experience with production?
I did.
How did this? Okay, so it seems like you were gone. How long was the whole production?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Mm-hmm. How many episodes was it? So was
10.
How many? Okay, so what do you record? Film a few days a week, or how do they split it up?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of changed depending on, I guess, what kind of production they had to put together. Sure. Sometimes some of the underwater one, they had this massive tank that they had to construct and fell and light and all this stuff. So we ended up having a couple of days off in there while we were getting all that together.
Now, are you able to go out and about, or they kind of sequester you in?
Totally sequestered. Yeah.
No phones or nothing.
No phone, no computer, no magazines, no books, no music,
it's
no
like a
TV.
Big Brother, that type of thing.
We had a big TV that we couldn't turn on.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
A tease.
Yeah. But we had so much fun. I mean, I'm really grateful that they did that. I mean, they did that for a reason.
Right.
And it's interesting because the younger folks in the cast had a lot of issues with that sort of thing, we're being controlled and
Right.
And for me, I was like, well, my mind is getting more and more clear.
Right.
The less distraction we have around.
Right.
And I saw it as a huge gift.
Yeah.
And it was my brain totally changed.
Got it.
From that experience of just having no extraneous distraction and sort of going almost back to the old days. A couple of people brought instruments, and one guy, Rick, would play the guitar, and we'd make up songs.
Yeah, just have fun.
And we had so much fun making up silly songs, or singing songs we knew, or putting funny lyrics to songs we knew, making up our own lyrics and stuff. It was great.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, we'd make
honest.
meals together. We'd sit down. If we had time, sometimes we'd get home from set and it would be 2:00 in the morning. But other times when we were home early enough, we'd make a meal and we'd all sit at the table and we'd sort of say how glad we were to be together, and sort of giving our gratefuls at the beginning of the meal. It was nice. It was really sweet.
Now, when someone got off the show, they leave the house. They just go home.
Yeah. So here's a little back story that you would never guess from watching the show.
Right.
anytime there was an elimination challenge, so like we all move in the house, right? Get our bags out, hang all our stuff up. There's little closets and whatever. So we've got all our stuff and our stuff in the shower, our shampoo and our blah, 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 right? But anytime there was an elimination challenge, we had to pack all our shit back into our suitcases.
Like everyone's like just ready to go.
Yeah, and like our names were big, like a big piece of tape with our name on the suitcase, which I still have on mine. I'm like,
wow.
I'm not taking it off.
Yeah.
And so once the judges decided who was going to get cut, and it was long before we would know, right? Once the judges would make their decision, they would tell production team, then they'd send us out for the final judging, shooting it. Meanwhile, production person is driving back to the house and getting that person's bags. Yeah.
Rough.
And so then the second you're cut, boom, they just whisk you away and we never see them again.
They take
them over to do a final interview.
Oh, right.
And then they shove them in a different van, take them to a hotel, they spend the night there, and then put them on a plane.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Well.
They just get disappeared.
Yeah, they just disappear. It's, the whole behind-the-scenes thing's always...
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had good experiences working in the industry and then not so good experiences. So,
Oh, yeah, you were...
I've had both.
Did stuff in Hollywood?
Had both. Well, no, most of it was up here. Actually, I worked at Ridgeland Entertainment with Doug Stanley. He's... Let's see. Deadliest Catch is his baby.
Oh, okay.
So he was the Emmy-winning producer who did Deadliest Catch for the first 7 seasons, and then after that, his brother Todd took over. And Doug opened up his own production company and kind of just handpicked certain people and brought them in. And I learned, let it out.
It's smoky up here, people.
It is. There's fires going around, and they're reaching where we're at. Yeah, so he brought me in. I learned pretty much everything from Doug,
cool.
So it's really good to learn. I ended up being associate producer, getting as far as that under Doug. Learned everything from him, most stuff from him, and made a lot of good connections. It was a good experience as far as that, and then things kind of went south. So what are you gonna do?
Right.
Yeah. Some people stayed, some people left, some people sued.
Oh, geez.
It was, and I don't know what, I haven't talked to them in a while, most people from there. But I have some other friends that I've met from there who I still, the original, 5 people who were there are all we're all, in contact and everything. So really, it was a good experience. Met a lot of people and, but on set, it's kind of fun,
Right.
The few times I was on set, I was in charge of the slate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did the slate, and I was in charge of the walkie-talkies and that person doing that. But yeah, it was a good experience. More for me just having good connections, and I had a lot of my own projects I was trying to get going, and other people have their own agendas, and producers have their own agendas, and then you're trying to get your agenda, and it's just and they're higher up, so their agendas go through, and then yours don't.
Right.
That's just how it is. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah. So after the show, how have things been? I mean,
well, it was a little rough immediately after. Well, okay, so during shooting the show, 6 weeks of basically get up, go create art, come back, go to sleep, get up, go create art, come back, go to sleep. We don't have to plan anything except our outfit,
right?
And that was kind of the clothing thing. I think was maybe one of the more challenging bits.
Really?
You wouldn't even imagine, right? But there's starts off with 12 members of the cast. And the producer, big part of what some of the producers had to do was plan all our outfits so 2 people weren't wearing the same color.
Oh, right.
Or done little things you don't think of, So every night, no matter how tired we were after shooting, if we had to shoot the next day, our handler person had to take a picture of each of us in 3 different outfits. You know, even if it's 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, okay, go put on your 3 outfits for tomorrow. Yeah. And we have to stand there like, okay,
come on.
And then they send them to the producer. And then they've got to look at everybody's 3 choices and pick what each person's going to wear the next day. But then you have to also bring your other 2 choices with you just in case they change their mind at the last minute. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But
also a hassle.
You know, especially when you're exhausted and you're like, really? I have to put on, I just want to take off my clothes, all my clothes. And then... I just forgot what I was going to say. And we started running out of clothes. Because a lot of, most of us, at least a quarter of what we brought, we couldn't wear on camera. Because maybe these polka dots weren't good for camera. Lines are bad.
Yeah, lines are real bad.
The dudes all brought all black.
Right.
And they're like, come on, you can't wear all black for every thing, you know. Some of the girls, not me, but a couple of the other girls, the younger, thinner, cuter ones, had a lot of midriff tops and little short skirts, and I guess that they didn't like that. They didn't want to see anyone's belly button for some weird reason on a body paint show where the models are naked. So I don't want to see your belly button.
Right.
So then we ended up having to. The few times that we got to leave the house. Other than for being on set, is they took us to go buy more clothes. With our own money, of course.
Right. They didn't even spot you the money for the clothes, huh? Right.
No.
Man.
And they took us, I can't even remember the name of the street. Maybe Sunset Boulevard or something, but there was a Buffalo Exchange there, and a couple of places, and then there was some sweet thrift stores, just random little thrift stores, and that's where
thrift stores.
Yes,
it's
and
my jam.
I got a lot of the clothes I still wear now. I got at the thrift store there. And they took us to Ross one time. I have a favorite dress that I still wear all the time. That I got at that Ross.
Yeah, you can find some real treasures at Ross. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so there was a lot of this drama over you need better clothes, you need different clothes, and we had to go shopping 4 different times.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah,
and then they don't even pick up the tab.
No, at the very end when there was only 4 of us left or something. They gave us a little money to go buy some stuff.
Then
in the very, very final episode, they bought us fancy outfits for the final episode.
Oh, that's nice.
And we got to keep them, which was a nice surprise.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, everything's budgeted.
Yep.
Before the show starts, there's a budget.
Right. And when there's 12 people, it's you guys are on your own. But then when you get to the very, start to get to the very end, it's you're almost more elite status or something.
Yeah, they take care of you a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And meals, they pay for the meals, obviously, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And see, that was another thing is they'd say, hey, give us a shopping list of what you want in your fridge.
Right. And they kind of put whatever you want on it.
And there was stuff in the fridge.
Right.
We had to prepare our own food.
Sure. Did they have off limits? You're not eating ribeye every night. We're not paying for it.
Oh, I guess they could have said that. No one asked for that, really.
Oh, okay.
They did get us, I don't know if you remember Otto, the guy from Wisconsin.
Right, yeah.
He was our grill master.
Oh.
And so anytime we had time to do cooking, he would fire up the grill. We had a gas grill there and do chicken legs or burgers or
for sure.
little steaks or chops or whatever we had,
And you hope he just doesn't get sent home.
And then he got sent. And
let's not send this guy home. He's cooking for us.
Yeah, the dynamic in the house, you can't tell at all from watching the show.
Right.
He was the Papa Bear and I was the Mama Bear. I cooked a lot. I would gather up all the towels and wash the towels when we had a day off. I don't know. It was just sort of this, because we were the 2 oldest ones, I guess, and we were the only ones who had kids. So we sort of saw the whole experience a lot different than everyone else did.
Right.
And when he got sent home, I lost it. I was so upset. I had no idea how attached to having.
When he got sent home, I didn't think he was going to get sent home. To be honest,
I didn't either, and you can tell from watching the show.
Yeah, it's what?
Some things that people hate me for now.
Right. Well, get over it, right?
You're right. I was, and in that moment, I was upset and I was exhausted.
Right.
And I had like this split-second decision to make. Do I say this out loud, or do I just keep it to myself?
Right.
And I was like, fuck it, I'm on TV.
Yeah.
Like, and I promised myself that I would totally not filter myself, and I would be super honest and just like put it all out there, you know. And so I made that choice. It was a split-second choice, but I was like, I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna hate me, but fuck it, I'm gonna say it.
Right. Well, you just were speaking your mind.
Yeah.
And I'm sure. I mean, obviously, you weren't the only one thinking that. I'm sure a lot of people at home were thinking that, because we were thinking that too. We're like, oh.
Yeah, and a lot of, you know, after that episode aired, I got a lot of hate mail, but a lot of people were like, "You're just saying what we're all thinking."
You just gotta be honest.
And when that episode aired, so like Otto, when he went home, he had no idea I'd said that because they whisked him away already, right? He was long gone, and so he had no idea until the episode aired. And he's like in the bar with all his like dude friends, biker friends, and whatever. And that episode aired, and that happened, and they all like freaked out and were cheering, and they were like, he was like, oh my, he messaged me afterwards, I can't believe you said that.
Yeah, that's funny.
And he's like, my friends love you now, but you know, you're getting like death threat emails.
I know. On the other hand, people are just not liking it.
Yeah, it's
really weird these days though. You can't be truthful. You can't really say what you want to say. You offend people. It's a crazy world we live in right now.
Yeah,
you just gotta watch out. You gotta be careful.
I know.
Or not, and just do what you did. Who cares?
I promised myself at the beginning that I wasn't going to try to like be disingenuous or act anything other than my pure self. You know, I'm old enough now that I'm just like, fuck it. You know?
I know,
like,
I feel the same way.
And I've lived my whole life with like, I'm a polarizing kind of person. Like, I did this when the show was airing, I was getting so much hate mail. Like, people...
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hated me. And I still get some sometimes, you know. And it's funny because I'll get all these messages like, oh, you inspired me so much and I was rooting for you, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll get these other ones like, why are you such a bitch? You need to check yourself, and, you know.
Well, you know what they say.
It's like...
They say if you don't have haters, then you're not doing it right.
Right? And that was, you know, that was sort of the thing I promised myself. I'm like, some people are going to hate me, but at least I'm being 100% myself.
Yeah.
But I was getting so much hate mail while the show was airing, and it was starting to get to me, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I was already kind of having a rough time.
You can't read that shit, you know.
Yeah.
You just can't.
But I was having sort of a rough time anyway because I'd gone from 6 weeks of just getting to do art and not having to do anything else.
Right.
Not have to plan dentist appointments or go to the bank or any of that shit. Just like, I got to just be an artist and get taken care of, basically. To coming back here where there's, you know, not much body painting for me to do, if any, you know, like kind of coming back to like my harsh reality where it's like, oh, I'm in charge of everything.
Right.
I've got to clean the house, and I've got to cook the meals, and I've got to like figure out all the doctor's appointments for the kids and school and da da da. And it was just like, oh, it hit me hard, you know. Like,
I didn't win, and I don't have.
And I didn't win. I don't have $100,000. Yeah, and that like got to me too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, at that point, you're like, I'm gonna fucking win this thing.
I know.
You must be
by the time
I would have been.
I totally thought.
Yeah. I mean, I thought you had it, but whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's a harsh reality to come back to.
That was like I was telling the producers in my after interview, my wrap up interview, I was like, it was like I had a sandwich. My lips were touching the sandwich, and I could taste it and smell it. So I ripped the sandwich out of my mouth.
Right, gone, just like that.
So I had, you know, I'd kind of gotten depressed. Like I was feeling really depressed.
Bummer.
It was sort of a postpartum thing. Like, oh, I've done this big exciting thing. It's all over. Now what do I do with myself? Plus, like, I'm in charge of everything again.
Yeah.
So then the show started to air, and I'm all excited again, and then next thing you know, I realize, oh, I'm the villain.
Right.
I was all excited for it to air and everything, and then like there's the one episode with the group challenge with the mural. After that, I was the villain.
Right.
And that's when the hate mail started and everything. So then I was just like getting bummed again, and then like the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks later, my mom went in the hospital, and she had cancer, and she died within about 2 weeks. And so I was staying there at the hospital, sleeping there on the little couch.
This is as in the middle of the show airing.
In the middle of the show airing. So, like, I'm there, you know, with her and family and stuff, like, all day and all night. And then, you know, ping, ping, like, oh, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 these messages. And I'm just like, why? So, you know.
Yeah, well, I can see how that can bring you down.
Yeah.
It's a rough time.
It was a rough time right
Rough
after.
combination, yeah. Yeah, I lost my dad to cancer, too.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve,
Oh.
2013.
Oh, boy.
Rough. I mean, we knew it was coming. I mean, he had her for like 5 years. But,
Oh, wow.
But
Yeah,
one of
it
my
was
grandmothers...
really out of nowhere for
2
my
weeks.
mom.
Yeah, one of my grandmothers. Like, it was... What's wrong with Grandma? She has cancer. 2 weeks later, gone.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, my mom was one of those people that you thought you always would think she was going to be the last one standing. Mm-hmm. You know, like, there were probably 10 people in my family I would have thought would have
gone first.
Would have gone first. Like, she I don't know. It's
That's
still,
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still can't, like, part of me doesn't think she's gone. I keep having these dreams where she's like, oh, hell no.
Right.
Like, I came back, you know, like, I bounced back after you left the hospital you know, because, like, I was there when she passed away. Like, I was with her, I was holding her hand. And then there was nothing else for me to do, right? And I drove home. This was down in the Bay.
Yeah.
So I drove home, and that was the last I saw of her. But I keep having these dreams where she's like, oh, no, after you left, I bounced back.
Wow.
You know, like, no. Like, why are you getting rid of all my stuff?
Right. Life's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, every time I wake up, I'm like, my big part of my brain still doesn't believe.
Sure.
And it's been 2 years now.
I think that's common, though. I think that's a common thing. Yeah, bummer. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You just kind of, like, I'm glad I quit. I used to smoke cigarettes, and I quit the cigarettes.
Good for you.
You know, yeah. I don't. You know, I miss it though. I really like smoking cigarettes when I used to smoke. But
That's funny.
I'm glad I don't. Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah. And I even forgot what I was leading up to a point there. What was your original question?
I don't know. I think it's something about the show. I don't know. We can move on to another question.
Okay, sure.
Let's do that. Okay, so do you find that production kind of got in the way of creativity? Was there times where it's like, I'm not as creative? I feel like I'm not as creative as I would be if these cameras weren't in my fucking face.
Right.
That type of thing.
I didn't mind. I mean, really, after the first 2 times, it's easy to forget that they were there.
Yeah.
But little things like, them popping out from behind the curtain and saying, hey, you guys, throw some shade. You're all too quiet. Because we'd get in the zone. We'd just be painting, and it would be dead silent in there, you know? And they're like, this isn't good TV.
Right.
They pop out like, someone say something.
Yeah. Someone start some shit, please.
Yeah, right? And we were terrible at it. It's so funny that they have to, manufacture all this shit-talking and drama.
Right.
Because we were none of us, we were like a family. Like, we would all, cuddle on the couch and together and have these meals together and stuff. And we all really respected each other as artists, and so they'd go like, hey, throw some shade, and we'd be like, hey, Otto, that's a weird shade of blue you're using. Like, we didn't know what to say.
What are you gonna say?
Yeah. I mean, toward the end, the more stressed out we got, the more stuff started coming out.
Yeah. People using props that they brought with them.
Right. I get shit over, oh, man, why'd you have to narc on him? I'm like, why is it okay for him to just completely try to cheat?
Sure, I would have brought all kinds of shit if that's the case.
Right? I know it.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
But, so yeah, that part was, kind of funny and awkward and, But okay, so I'll tell you another little behind the scenes thing that nobody knows, because people ask me a lot about the time limits.
Oh yeah,
on the paintings, right? And they go, "Oh, well, they really gave you more time, didn't they? Like that,
right.
They just don't show." Like, no, it was less. It was at least 30 minutes less.
Really?
Because I have to cough. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Because they would come, the judges would come talk to you while you're painting. And they go, oh, no, keep painting. But, how well can you really keep painting when you're talking to 4 people?
Sure.
Right? So, and usually by the time they would walk away, I'd be like, oh, I totally effed that up because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing and I was talking to them. And then a lot of times I'd have to redo stuff. But also, once they were gone, you'd be like, okay, I can get back to like hauling ass and painting this thing. But then one of the producers would pop out and ask you all the same questions again so they could shoot your reaction from it. Because the first shooting, they were shooting the judges. So then they come back and the producer behind the camera asks all the same questions. You have to answer them again so they can shoot you. And so then you're like, oh, just when I thought I could paint some more.
Right.
And then when that's done, they go, oh, we need to shoot the model just by herself, and they take her for another like 5 minutes and just shoot her by herself. And so then you're just like, come on, let me paint.
So it's actually less.
It's way less, yeah.
Get more camera guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Oh,
and there was loads of cameras, but I don't know. I guess I don't know.
Bummer, man.
Yeah, so
that's a bummer.
Most of the challenges, it was about 30 minutes less of actual real painting time.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to do art in a time limit, which is weird in itself.
Weird in itself, yeah.
Right? Like we're normally like, I could take my time and just do what I think needs to happen here instead of cramming it.
Yeah, and especially, like the longer challenges, the elimination challenges, we get to go home and sketch and think about it overnight.
Sure.
But the short ones, it really was like time starts now, so you've got to think of something.
Right.
And think of how you're going to do it and do it like all in that time limit.
I would be thinking, like if I was in that situation, like I'd be sitting there wasting half the time figuring out what I was going to do.
I know. You couldn't easily do that.
Like what? I don't know. Like, because you don't know ahead of time.
Nothing.
Like what's
not even
right?
no. Like you know nothing about anything, and really like. I can attest to, people wonder too, is like, oh, how much is it really a surprise?
Right.
No, like they kept us in this little room. It was like
before?
Like anytime we weren't shooting, we were in this little room with no windows. Sometimes we couldn't even, like they'd say, hey, 10-minute warning, chance to go to the bathroom, and you won't be able to go for the next 2 hours after that. Kind of a thing. If there was something going to be going, like people going through the hallway, they stuff they didn't want us to see, like really tight about us finding out anything about anything.
Wow.
Yeah, so, we really didn't know. And I liked that. I liked, because I think it freed up my imagination and creativity to not be trying to second guess what was going to happen.
Right.
It just like sort of opened this, I don't know, I did a talk about this once, but it's hard to put into words, like how sort of just letting it go and not trying, just completely not thinking about it. And just saying, okay, I'm not going to think about it until they say what it is in that moment. And it almost like allows sort of the muse and the creativity to come in like this bolt of lightning if you keep yourself empty and blank. If you're trying to think too much, then you're like trying to, they tell you the challenge and you're trying to overlay or cram and fit the ideas you already had into what they said, into their challenge, and it doesn't always fit.
Got it.
But if you keep yourself empty, then they give you your challenge and like this bolt of inspiration can come in.
Right. That's interesting.
It is interesting, and it was a discipline that I kind of just started doing while I was there.
Right.
It wasn't something I had thought about before that I was going to do, but I just
interesting.
Yeah, I sort of cultivated it, and and if I didn't have a bolt of inspiration right away, my strategy was the first thing I'd think of is like, what color do I want?
Oh, okay.
Or color,
something you can control.
Something I can control, and I just would start laying down some color and let it speak to me. Eventually, it would eventually come, but at least I had like some color. So, like, if you watch the show, you'll notice. I don't know if you can tell from watching it, but definitely on set, like the other artists knew that like I was always sort of the slowest to get started.
Okay. Can't tell on the show, but okay.
Yeah, I was sort of always in the beginning. I was always behind. And and then like it was sort of always come together like in the last hour, and then because
right.
It's interesting because I don't think you can see this from watching the show.
No.
But being there was always a lot of like the other painters being like, "Wow, girl, you better catch up! Like, what are you doing? It doesn't look like anything. It doesn't look like anything."
Right.
And I'd be like,
Right, don't worry about it.
I got this, and then like
she's not even gonna make it.
Yeah, and then at the end they'd be like, "Holy shit! It would just like boom, like snap together like in the last minute."
How'd she beat us? Wow.
I remember the fashion challenge in particular. Like, it kind of just didn't look like anything until it was pretty much done.
Right. Sometimes I guess that's just how it is.
Yeah.
As long as you get it at the end, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
As long as you finish at the finish line and it's done.
Yeah, like
that's it.
I always kind of, at least by halfway I had a plan. And I had a plan of like when I was going to do what and what I was going to, And I guess none of them saw my process, so they thought it was just like...
That's interesting. Let's let it open. It's kind of like when you're watching a movie with someone, one of those deceptive movies.
Oh, yeah, what's going to happen?
I'm trying to figure it out. I know who the killer is.
Yeah,
Just shut up and watch. You'll find out who it is.
Yeah.
You're ruining the whole experience. I never do that. I always just like, let it happen.
Be in the moment.
Yeah, be in the moment. And then when it happened, like The Sixth Sense, like I remember seeing that in the theater being like, whoa, he's dead. And then like my friends are like, yeah, you didn't figure that out like, halfway through the movie? Like, no, I wasn't trying to. Like, I was just
enjoying it. Yeah, I'm one of those people, like, I always like surprises.
Let it open and just...
I didn't get an ultrasound when I was pregnant. I just wanted to be surprised.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, like, how often do you get to have a surprise like that in your life?
Right. But what do you do as far as buying stuff ahead of time, or just not?
No, we
color-wise, or just,
like,
who cares?
Green, yellow.
He'll wear pink, who cares?
No, like, I mean, we had a lot of stuff that was green, yellow, orange, like, nothing has to be color-coded, really.
Right.
It's just a baby.
Yeah, it's just a baby. Who cares?
Like, giraffes, frogs.
I know.
Foxes.
Right.
I got things I liked. I love foxes, so there was a lot of fox things and a lot of owl things when he was born.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't care. It's for us anyway, right? I'm just going to get what I like.
I know. It's weird, being a parent's weird in anyways. It's just weird.
It's awesome.
It's interesting.
Awesomely weird.
It's cool,
speaking of, like, not trying to figure things out, though, I had a magician boyfriend for, like, 6 years.
Yeah.
And like, I never tried to figure out how he did a trick.
Oh, really?
No. Like, I love...
That's something I probably would have. After like, seeing it 20 times. Okay, how'd you do it?
I really loved just watching it and being like, I have no idea.
Okay.
We just got rammed by a bird.
Bird hit the window, okay. I
loved just being
I think after that many years
you did that. Like, that was really cool. And feeling like it's magic.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. I like that. But I think, that many years of someone I would have wanted to know. Yeah. or teach me something so I can,
I do magic, too. I mean, I'm a kid's performer, so I do magic also. Cool. But not like what he did. Like card tricks and things. Yeah. Like, I like to keep that be a mystery.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. That's kind of a cool thing to know. Yeah. I like that.
And being on the show, I liked sort of having things be a mystery. I enjoyed that part of it.
Right.
Yeah. Until it was like there in your lap. And then I don't know. It was a cool experience.
That's cool. I'm glad it was a good experience. It's, reality TV is kind of... so many people are surprised at how fake reality TV really is. One time I was on a shoot with Andy Armstrong. He's pretty much the biggest second director in Hollywood. He does like all the last two Spider-Mans, the Amazing Spider-Mans. Not this last one, but the last two that had that English guy that played Spider-Man. He did those. He's done all kinds of stuff. He's pretty much any action movie that's done in Hollywood, he's done like half of them as far as the second directing, any of the scenes that have to do with action. So we were on a shoot with him, and he wasn't aware of how fake that reality was, because he got into this big argument with Doug Stanley, and all of a sudden Andy, who's a short little English guy, starts flipping over tables and throwing shit across the room, and I'm a goddamn this and that director. This is outrageous. This is outrageous. You have a script for this. This is reality TV. We're not supposed to know what's going to happen. And then Doug's like trying to explain to him, well, it's reality TV, but it's really not. This is how we do it. I can't believe it. 20 years in Hollywood. I've never And then finally we calmed him down after an hour, but it just goes to show most people don't really know how much behind the scenes reality TV has. It's a lot of it.
If there was a script, I don't know about it for our show.
Yeah, most of the time there is.
Yeah,
there's some sort of something. Well, as far as like a structure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It won't be like a dialogue, but it'll be like, okay, they're going to go here. This is what it's scheduled to this, and
Well, you have to have a schedule, or it's going to just
it's going to be a mess.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to plan for these guests to come and these special models to come, or like the aquarium we're going to go to or whatever.
Right. Yeah, so the models, that's another thing. Okay, so a lot of the same models.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah, we had this core of models, and as one person would go home, they'd end up sending a model home also, which was kind of a bummer.
Oh, really?
These models thinking they're going to have 6 weeks of work, and then it's like, all right, that person got canned.
Bummer.
But they, so we did end up with the same model for maybe 3 challenges or so, and then they would rotate them.
Okay, got it.
But then, of course, we had the special models as well.
Right.
So we did the breast cancer survivors, the drag queens.
Right.
In past episodes, there were like midget wrestlers.
Yeah.
I can't remember what else, but
interesting. Okay, I wasn't sure about that. It seemed like I kept. Oh yeah, there's a lot of the same models.
Yeah, we had sort of like the core base of models and that were in most episodes, and then we'd have like the special ones that would rotate in.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that you do.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, I love it.
It's cool. Yeah.
So the lady who I painted for the breast cancer survivor episode is here in town right now in Grass Valley. She just messaged me, so I'm going to try and, as soon as this is done, I'm going to try and go catch up with her.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she lives down near San Diego.
Oh.
And I went and stayed with her last summer. She's super fun.
Yeah.
She's got 3 kids. And beautiful home.
That was a really cool. That was a cool episode.
Yeah. So she and I have stayed friends.
That's awesome.
Like, there's some really powerful friendships that got forged through that experience.
That's really cool. And you seem to stay busy doing the art, right?
Yeah.
So after the depression. After the depression, you kind of end up pulling
myself out. And one thing that the show really did for me was sort of crystallized what I wanted to do. It sort of showed me what my life could be like. Creating art in that way. And it's sort of a goal. I'm still not there. I'm still like doing everything myself. But eventually I want to have like a staff. I need I came home from this going, I need a staff.
Right.
And that like plans where I'm going to go and drives me there or whatever, stops my fridge for me.
Right.
And so it sort of gave me like the vision of like where I wanted to go. And part of why it wasn't happening was I just kind of, I started face painting for kids' parties 25 years ago. It'll be 26 years in October.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, long time. It's like I started when I was real young, like 23. And I kind of kept doing things the same way. I got comfortable. Just got comfortable. It was my job. Like, that was my job. And go paint for events, family events, company picnics for Facebook and Twitter and whatever, down in the Bay, and birthday parties and things like that. But those jobs, they were still paying the same as they did in 1995.
Oh, right.
It's time for me to have a raise. It's time for me to feel appreciated, because I felt like they didn't care if it was me there or anyone else there. They just wanted to like fill that spot. And they want you to just paint really fast. They don't care if it's good, really. And like, oh yeah, there's going to be 3,000 people here, and we need you to keep your designs to under 2 minutes so that we can just move the line. I'm like, where's the fun in that? Where's the love? Where's the art? So I kind of realized coming back from Skin Wars that I just wanted to do things differently. I wanted people to seek me, not just, oh, I'm looking for a face painter. I'm sorry.
Right.
And I wanted to do more body painting. So I started, looking for other people to work with, production, event production people and stuff. And so I went through a long period of not really working because I just felt like I had to tear everything down and build a fresh version of what I do.
Sure.
So there was some tough times of no money.
Right.
But I
realized,
but I realized I kind of had to do it that way. I couldn't keep doing what I was doing and build the new thing at the same time. It just didn't work. I had tried it, and it just, you have to completely, it's like getting out of a bad relationship. Yeah. You have to cut it off. Yeah. Before you can find the thing that's your perfect place to be. Right. So so it's not like the show suddenly got a bunch of people calling me up and saying, hey, we want to pay you money. Right. It didn't do that.
Which you would hope for, but
right. So people say, did the show help your career? It didn't help me in that literal way that you would imagine you'd want it to, but it helped me in the way of I want to just end this old way of doing my business and start this new thing. So I started working with some new people, and this one production company that I work with for corporate events, they're always challenging me and pushing me and having me do crazy stuff I've never tried before. Right. They little by little started realizing, she pulled that off. Let's see if she can do this. And it's the challenges have gotten more and more extreme. And now they know I can pretty much do anything. Right. And I love that. So they call me all the time.
That's good.
And I'm always outside my comfort zone. And at comfort zone, I realize that's my happy place.
So are things a little...
That's where I thrive, is right outside my comfort zone.
Just being pushed.
And I'm after being on the show, I'm completely inoculated to stress. Right. Creative stress. Right.
Right. Like I've been there, done that.
Yeah. It doesn't, it challenges me, and I feel challenged, but I don't feel stressed. Right. And it's kind of cool. That's one huge benefit that the show gave me.
So are things more lucrative now as far as this new direction you're going?
Yeah, it's coming along.
It's a little bit better.
It's inching up and up and up and up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
It's hard to get art, people just, they don't think of any kind of art, really. People want to steal music, or they want to download movies for free, or, you do a painting and it's it's my art. It's my, I put my soul into this, and it's okay, I'll just take a picture. It's just, people don't want to pay for it. It's just not, it's hard for an artist to make it.
Yeah. If you go to Europe, it's not like that.
It's different.
It's different.
Really?
They view artists in a different way, with a different level of respect and reverence almost. And here in this country, there seems to be this attitude that if you're an artist, you should be doing it just for your love of art and no other reason. It's your hobby. Right. They think of it as your hobby. Right. And, a lot of times, even just face painting, people get mad that you want to charge money. And it's this is how I'm making my living. They're like, well, you should just be doing this for the kids because you love it and because they love it. And it's
who's paying?
Do you do that at your job?
Right. Do you clock in or not clock in? Just go and not clock in?
I'm you should just give me that hamburger because
I'm hungry.
Because I want it. Yeah. I like it, and you like doing it. No, it doesn't work that way. No. And around here, I don't even try to make a living up here. Right. Because all the hippie pot grower people and stuff, they really this is the kind of thing that they just do for fun, and they go to Burning Man or whatever, and everyone just does it for fun. It's a whole weird scene up here. And they don't realize that I do it because I love it, but it's my job because I love it.
Yeah, you got bills just like everyone else. Yeah. Just this electricity doesn't pay itself.
Here, give you this bag of mushrooms if you paint at my party.
Here's some weed.
Whatever.
Just It's weird up here. Like, I was in the Bay for 10 years before I came up and was helping my grandmother out, and it's not my favorite place.
Right. I love
I like
here.
it. I like the scenery. I like it outside. It's nice. I met my beautiful girlfriend up here. She's from up in this area. But other than the actual land and the area, some of these people are just, man.
Yeah. I mean, I have a sense of community here and friends that I never had living in the Bay. Like the smaller town feel.
I'm glad you're having a better experience with it.
It's just like trying to make a living is a different, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, with my art, like I realized that that's not going to happen. I only do body paint things up here basically for fun.
Right.
Like, I don't even pretend to try to be making any money at it.
How long have you been up here?
10 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You just all of a sudden decided to come up in the middle of nowhere? What?
I went to summer camp up here when I was a little kid. Up at Lake Vera.
Sure.
Camp Augusta. Well, not Camp Augusta. On the other side. It was called Camp Okaizu at the time.
Okay.
Now it changed names over the years. But,
got it.
And so this was like my magic place. Like, I always wanted to come back here. I always wanted to come back. And in my 30s, I got really sad and lonely, and I realized I was sad and lonely for this place. And then I was like, well, it's a real place. I can just go there.
I mean, it is a badass place. I do like the place.
Yeah, it's very magical, And so I started coming camping up here and stuff. My husband and I got married up here.
Got it.
Up at the lake.
Right.
At the summer camp. And then we just decided to move. So, I love living here. I just don't have any illusions about trying to make a living doing my art here. And that's fine. I'm happy to travel.
Yeah, so you can travel to do your thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to move.
Right. No, I just drive to the Bay, do my thing, and then I come back and live in my magic place.
Right.
And, I have, like, my core of friends, like, mostly other parents.
Sure.
But there's just, like, this deeper friendship that I never really had in the Bay.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss the Bay a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
I do. I like
really
it up here, but I was, I don't know, I was there for years, and I loved it.
I mean, I grew up down there. I grew up in Fremont, and then I lived in San Francisco for 10 years, and I lived in Oakland for 10 years, and then I moved here. But I really don't, I like visiting the Bay.
Yeah.
I miss the diversity, and I miss the drag queens, but other than that, I'm happy to stay here.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice, I like the land.
Yeah.
like I said, we got a pond right in the backyard. If I want to go fishing, I can go fishing. It's kind of cool. It's nice up here.
Yeah. And I love raising my little boy up here. Like, so much better than raising him in a city,
Yeah.
And we have like a lot better schooling options, and and I just like having him be out here in nature and.
Yeah, it's definitely a different experience. Yeah. My kids are in, I think, Placerville right now. So, similar landscape.
Yeah.
With their mother and everything. So how do you like being a mother, though? You like
it's the best
being
thing
a parent?
Ever.
Yeah, it's pretty
best
cool.
Thing ever, yeah.
Like, get my kids every other weekend or so it's not as much as, I'd like to see them, but...
Brittany from Skin Wars just had her baby on the 6th.
Really?
She just had a baby.
Well, congrats to Brittany.
Yeah,
Brittany. That's awesome. Yeah. That's good for her, man.
Yeah, she just sent a picture.
You. Yeah. It really, man, it's a whole nother thing when you have a kid, man.
Yeah. It was really so hard to be away from my boy when we were on the show.
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to ask. So how is it? Yeah. Is it really as hard as people make it seem on shows when they're away from their family? I would assume it is.
Well, I don't know about other people, but for me, I had never been away from him.
Right.
For more than like one night.
Right.
He was 4. He had just turned 4. And really, he had just stopped breastfeeding. Like, he was still nursing. Like,
sure.
Not like for nourishment, but, for comfort and like at bedtime and stuff. Like, I decided I was going to let him nurse as long as he wanted.
Sure.
I'm a hippie mom like that.
Yeah, whatever.
And,
yeah, who cares?
Some of my friends thought I was weird, but,
whatever.
And so really, like, that had just ended, and he had just turned 4, and I had never been away from him, and then all of a sudden, like, I I drive down to the Bay for a gig, and I'm halfway there, and I start missing him.
Right.
You know, like, we're just really close. And, like, part of that, I think, is because I had him older.
Right.
You know, I was 40 when I had him. And you just have a different perspective, I think, when you're older like that. Like, you know, I don't have that. I've done all these different crazy things already in my life. I don't feel like I need a break from my kid.
Right.
Like, I just want to be with him all the time.
Yeah, I had my first kid when I was 28. And I don't think I was ready.
No, I can't imagine.
Well, yeah, I don't think I was ready. I don't know
and
when
boy
I would have
years
been
are
ready.
way. You were 28, but you were like 20 in boy years,
geez,
right?
I'm telling you, it was just not. Yeah, but now I look back on it now. They're 12 and 10, 12 and 10, 12 and 10, something like that.
I just want to note that he doesn't even know how old his kids are.
The oldest one's gonna be 13.
Okay.
And the boy.
It's a luxury you have when you're the dad.
I know, right? The boy just turned 10. But yeah, they're at a good age right now, you know, where it's fun, you know. Those early years are rough. I don't know.
Yeah, I love
it's not
early
easy.
years.
It's not easy. Well, I loved it. It's just not easy. It's more work than right now when they're 12 and on their tablet just playing a game. You know what I mean? It's like, okay,
I don't see it that way. I mean, you know, I think of it as like before he could talk was way easier.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Like all I had to do was feed him and change his diaper.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And now it's like I have to have these complex negotiations with him about stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Or, you know, his like complex emotions, and he's turning 7 and he's starting to have hormones and like, has these just like existential meltdowns, and it's way harder. I'd way rather go back and just change a diaper.
Yeah, good point. That was a good point. My daughter's, like I said, she's gonna be 13, and she's at that age where it's like
get ready for a ride.
Yeah, like 6 months ago, she hit the puberty and things started happening. It's like, oh my, I'm not ready for this.
I don't even want to tell you about what my life was when I was 13. I'll just scare you too much, like what I was doing when I was 13.
Yeah, see, and I'm not just afraid. I'm just like, I hope she's my angel. She's gonna be an angel, and that's where she's gonna be.
Mom advice and woman advice, and you know, coming from a woman whose dad wasn't around,
right?
You really have to be dad, because
Yeah.
they'll find a substitute.
Right. Yeah.
I gave a lot of blowjobs when I was 13.
See, things happen, world.
Because my dad wasn't there.
See, a lot of people have those issues. That's a legit thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could, you know, and you know, some people don't end up out of it okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, God bless. Like, you know, I gotta say, this is like a little side journey, but my grandma, who's not with us anymore, in Iowa, and my aunt decided that I needed to see my dad. And my grandma pulled together this little mini family reunion so that I was 16 when I met my dad.
Wow.
I mean, I hadn't seen him since I was like 2 or something.
So that's...
and you know, so my grandma, my grandpa, my aunts and uncles, my dad, and then he had 2 other kids that I didn't know before, a brother and a sister. And that kind of started to change my life. Like, I feel like I could have gone down a way darker path if you know, we started doing it every year, and I feel like that sort of pulled me back to a healthier place, for sure.
So, do you, let's say, forgive the father for?
Of course.
Yeah. See, some people wouldn't, or.
Well, I mean, it was definitely not all him. You know, my mom was like 19.
Yeah.
When she got pregnant, and he was 20. You know, like they were little kids.
Yeah.
And you know, their relationship didn't work out. My mom got remarried, and my dad was like, "Oh, I'm just going to be in the way." Like that was his mindset.
Right.
You know. So it was my stepdad, but I still had that, like, oh, my dad left, you know.
Right.
And my stepdad's kind of a quiet shy dude.
Right.
And he's kind of come out of his shell now that he's a widow. All of a sudden, he's like Mr. going up and starting conversations with strangers. Like he's like, who stole my dad? You know, like he's totally different now. But I guess I don't know. Like he used to be real quiet and shy, so I didn't have a ton of fatherly interaction with him when I was younger and growing up and stuff. So I kind of had this dad void a little bit. Right. But I certainly don't blame my bio dad or my stepdad. You know? Right.
Yeah, I definitely do worry about such things. My ex-wife has a new husband, boyfriend. I don't think they're married yet. But they have another kid. She's 42. She just had her third kid. And
oh, wow.
Good luck to her.
Yeah, that's hard on the body at that age, I can tell you.
I bet. My stepmother actually had my youngest sibling at, I think, 40 or 42. That's not easy. Yeah. But I do worry about that. He's a good guy, but I try to see my kids every other weekend. The longest I've gone is 3 weeks without seeing them. Right. Because it's just, I feel like if I'm not there, it's just...
Yeah, you gotta
be there. Yeah. So we have fun, and I know it's, I'm, the weekend dad where it's just go see dad and everything's fun and he'll buy me this or he'll do this or we'll go do that type of thing. But it's, better than not being there. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yep. It's not easy, man. This world's crazy. I'm telling you.
I know, and
it's a nutty
human
world.
Brains are so complex, and child brains are so complex and mysterious.
Yeah, they really are.
They're changing from week to week, literally, on a molecular level.
Yeah, I know.
You think you got a handle on what's going on with them, and then the next week they're totally different.
Oh, yeah. So you plan on staying up in this area?
Yeah, I mean, if I move, I have this fantasy of moving to, like Scandinavia.
Okay, all right.
Like Norway or something.
Yeah.
But, barring that, I'll be here.
Right. Doing your thing.
And I don't know if you know anything about my past before being here. I was saying I did a lot of stuff before I had my son.
Yeah. I know nothing.
And it came up a bit in the show, but they didn't air it.
Right.
It fell on the cutting room floor. But I've had they mentioned that I was a clown. Everyone knows that I was a clown. Right. And I still do clown stuff here and there. Mm-hmm. But I was also a fire swallower. And did a fire act with the circus, not like a touring circus, but like corporate events and things like that. Traveled around the world doing that act. So I did that act in, Japan, China. I spent 4 months in China, in Shanghai. Wow. I did that act for the Miss India pageant. You know how they have like the little acts in between? So I got to do it in the Miss India pageant, I think in 2001. Wow. Trying to think of others. So I've done it in like the Netherlands.
So you've been around.
Yeah, I've been around. I've done a lot of crazy stuff. Oh, I did it in Spain. And while I was in Spain, I got to run the bulls in Pamplona.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that was super fun.
That's cool.
And I was wearing red pants and silver high-heeled sneakers.
No.
Yeah. And then I've jumped out of airplanes a bunch of times. I was trying to get to be a certified skydiver. Sure. But then I ran out of money because it's expensive.
It's not cheap. Yeah.
Got certified scuba diving in this little island called Utila down in Central America.
What?
I also did my fire act there because there was like a free dive competition happening. So we got brought down to perform, and then I got my scuba certification because I'm petrified of the ocean. Okay. So I kind of forced myself.
Like sharks and stuff, or what?
I don't know. Like it's so dark and vast, and like you look out, like when you're down there and you look like out into the open ocean, like okay, here's the coral reef, right, and then it drops off and it's just open ocean. It's like looking into blackness, like absolute blackness, except it's blue. Wow. But it's like blue nothing.
Yeah, that is kind of freaky.
And that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, that is kind of.
So I forced myself.
I don't like water dump. I don't swim too often. Yeah. I don't. It's kind of.
I love the water, but I want it to be small.
Right. Yeah.
And so that,
I mean, rivers are scary too with the current.
Right.
My son almost got sucked up a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, geez.
Underneath there, yeah. It's scary.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, and let's see, I was a pro wrestler for a while.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I kind of just have lived like this wild.
So how do you
life.
get on this path? Like, where do you learn how to swallow swords and all that?
I don't swallow swords. My friend Jules swallows swords.
Well, okay, so what do you do with the swords?
I don't do anything with swords. I swallow fire.
Oh, fire. Okay.
Yeah.
How does this work? Me, I'm not. In my head, I'm picturing swords with fire. Okay, what do you do with the fire? How do you do
the fire only goes in your mouth. The sword has to go all the way down your throat and like into your stomach. I haven't done that.
What do you do to get the fire in your mouth? What's the process? Give me a visual, because I'm blanking here.
You tip your head back because the heat rises.
Okay.
Right, so then the heat can kind of go up and away from you. Don't inhale.
Okay.
That's important. Like, actually,
right. For sure, that's important.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised what a weird instinct it is to inhale. Like,
oh, wow.
And you could really F yourself up if you do that. That's pretty much it. Try and have a moist mouth.
Okay.
Because the more moisture you have in your mouth, the more of like a buffer you've got.
Got it.
If your mouth's real dry, it'll burn faster.
Okay, so how do you go from the teenage years where you're having issues to getting on the path and then learning all these really interesting type of things?
Well, when I was growing up, all I ever wanted to be was a performer and an artist.
Okay.
And I did like dance lessons, gymnastics lessons, baton twirling, and I was always performing. Like, I've been performing on stage since I was 5.
Right.
Recitals and things like that. I used to perform at the Alameda County Fair every summer with my dance troupe. Things like that.
Really?
Growing up. Like,
sure.
I've been on stage my whole life, and also, making art. So, and everyone would say, of course, like, oh, well, yeah, but you got to get a real job, blah, blah, blah. So I had, in my early 20s, I was struggling with trying to figure out, like, am I going to get a real job? Like, what kind of real job could I possibly do?
Right.
Like, I had done some office work, through a temp agency, and I hated it. I liked it because it was kind of mindless, but just, like, getting up at 6 in the morning every single day seemed stupid.
I agree.
So I started stripping. Not exactly stripping, because I was working at the Lusty Lady in San Francisco.
Okay.
And it's just a peep show, right?
Oh,
so so you don't take off your clothes. You just have your clothes off.
Right.
And you just dance around in a little red room with the mirrors.
And as people come, they pay to have the thing go up.
Yeah, the little windows go up and down. And,
right. Now, do you see the people?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are...
I didn't know if you see the people.
Some are like one-way glass.
Right, you might not want to see what they're doing.
Right? Yeah, some customers would want you to see what they were doing.
Sure,
They want that interaction, and some wanted to be anonymous. So I started working there, and it felt like a good fit because I was performing.
Okay. Yeah, you were.
I was performing. I got to like have little outfits and wigs and costumes, and it was an excuse to like buy lots of shoes.
Right. You like shoes, huh?
I like shoes.
Right.
But it was like run by women and owned by women.
Sure.
And we were in this sort of sheltered environment. We weren't having to like sit on laps or anything like that. So it became this like really strong woman power camaraderie. It was a lot. Sometimes it felt like a slumber party or something. And I also got really strong with like my boundaries. Like that's another thing that really like healed me. As far as like keeping parts of me for myself and not giving my power away to men a lot and stuff. Kind of ironically, that's what fixed that for me.
Made you a stronger woman.
Yeah, and it made me realize exactly where my boundaries were, and able to hold that boundary. Whereas before, like I had always kind of grown up with, like, oh, don't make waves, don't say anything.
Right.
Like when I was growing up, I got Me Too, hashtag Me Too, like fondled in the store by creepy dudes in business suits and stuff. Like, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
That one guy with his briefcase and his suit, like, grabbing my ass in Thrifties.
Right. Thrifties. They had great ice cream, I remember.
Yeah.
A lot of creeps out there, man.
Yeah, and like in my mind, I was like, I have to be imagining this.
Right.
This can't really be happening. Mm-hmm. Like, it's got to be me. It's got to be me. And like, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to like call him out and then be wrong and be embarrassed. And like after I'd worked at the Lusty Lady, like that shit would not fly. Like, I'd call that shit out right away. You know, guys tried that stuff on me later, and I was still in my early 20s. I still was sort of a fair target for these creeps, but I would call that shit out.
Yeah.
In a split second.
Right.
One time I was on BART, and this guy sat next to me, and I was just reading my book, and he pulls his thing out.
On the train?
BART, and he's like stroking it next to me on the train, but he had his backpack so other people couldn't see it. Right? And I don't know, he's just assuming I'm gonna sit there and be like, oh, I'm so uncomfortable, but I'm not gonna say anything because I don't know how to make waves.
Right.
Because that's what we're taught to do.
Sure.
And I jumped up on the seat and pointed at it, and I was like, everybody look! Oh my god, this guy's got his dick out, blah, blah. And he was just like, oh my god. And he ran off the train.
Of course.
It's not...
Don't pull your dick out on BART.
Right? But I never would have had the guts to do that if I hadn't worked at this place and had the boundaries, like,
interesting.
Understood where my boundaries were.
Wow. That really is interesting. So that really helped form you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best things I've ever done. And I know, like, I guess for a lot of people, they see it as like a shameful thing.
Right, yeah.
Like the friends that I made there, I'm still friends with, still close with to this day. And like, the ones that I've stayed in touch with, the women, they're doing amazing stuff now. Like, all those women, like, there's something about working at that particular place. Not every strip club, I don't know.
Right.
Like, some of them were sort of downward spirals for people who had drug addictions or whatever, I don't know. But this particular place had like this special power, this woman power to it.
That's actually really cool.
And these gals have grown up to be, lawyers and advocates for immigrants and like this one group that I don't want to say too much in case she's in the closet about working at that place.
Yeah,
but.
For sure. Yeah, but they made something of themselves.
Yeah, like really cool stuff.
Yeah,
like,
that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
But through there, I met a couple of gals who were in a burlesque troupe, and they said, hey, you should come do this with us. And I started doing that. And then that was like my first gig where I got paid to perform on stage with that troupe. And that was when like the light bulb went on. I'm like, this is what I want to do. And the girl who ran that troupe was a fire breather, and she taught me to swallow fire because she didn't want to do it so much anymore. So she wanted me to kind of take it up for her. And then that was when I met the magician guy, and he was making a living performing, and I was like, I want to know how you do this, making a living. And so he sort of mentored me and showed me how to do, started out with kids parties and then like corporate events and things. And, a lot of the world traveling that I did was with him. The trip to Japan. And, yeah.
That's actually, that's cool. You got to go places.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved that part about what I did. So it kind of just was like this slow morph of like, oh, this led to this and this led to this,
Yeah. And you did all this cool shit before you had a kid.
Yes.
Like you were saying. So when you have a kid, it's like, well, I did all the cool shit.
Yeah.
I can be a parent. A lot of people don't, they still want to do all the cool shit.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's so bad for the moms that like have kids young and then they're like, I want to go out to this, I want to go party and whatever, but I can't because like I go to parties for a living, so I'm not that interested in partying anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, that sounds like work. Right. Going to a party's work for me.
Right. That's yeah. The problem is that a lot of these parents are having these kids and they're not raising them right, and then you're making broken humans.
Right.
So when they're adults, they're broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's doing the best they can.
And that's another thing.
They're doing the best they can, but, you know, like no one's... I mean, I'm sure my kid's going to be broken in some way, too, even though I'm...
Right. Well, I think every kid to a point is. But that's another thing, when you get old, you realize that there's really no such thing as adults. Like, all of a sudden you're an adult, and you're like, this is what adult? Like, I don't know any more than I did before. Like,
no, it's true.
You think they know everything. Like, you know, mom and dad know everything, or, you know, and then you get to that point, and everyone's the same. Like, everyone knows as much as everyone, ever. Like, no one... It's crazy.
I feel like an imposter all the time.
It's weird.
I was just telling my son, though, the other day, he was having some meltdown about something, and I don't remember how it came up, but I said, you know what my real job is, don't you? I mean, like, feeding you and taking you to class and stuff, like, that's only, like, the side part of my job. My real job is to make you grow up to be a great grown-up.
Right.
That's my real job. That's the long game, you know?
Yeah.
All this other stuff is just sort of like the side effects of what that job is.
Right. You have to raise a decent human being.
Yep.
Because there's a whole lot of them that just aren't these days.
Because, you know, he hits. He has a tendency to get frustrated and hit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the one thing, like, any other tantrumy thing, like, I'm chill with. Like, if he just wants to throw pillows around or whatever, that's all fine. As soon as he hits...
Yeah, you can't get physical.
It shuts down.
Right.
Like, no, okay, now there's real consequences. You can throw pillows all day long until you calm down. That's great. But as soon as you hit, you're in trouble.
Right.
And
that's a good rule.
Yeah, and then he gets, you know, all mad about it. Like, can't I have a second chance? I deserve a second chance. I'm like, with hitting, no.
Right.
And then, you know, that's what I was saying. Like, it's my job to make you be a good grown-up.
Right.
And hitting is not okay.
Right.
You know?
Because you don't want to be 20 years old and just start hitting because you're upset.
And then you're in jail.
Right. It's just not, Good for you. Yeah. That's crazy. I like that.
Throw the pillows all you need to. You can throw all the bedding onto the floor. You can stomp on it. You can punch all the stuffed animals all you want. But, you can't slap me.
So you've had a pretty interesting life.
I guess I have.
You've done some stuff. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know too much about you at all. I just knew you were local, and I said, hey, I bet she's interesting to talk to. And you know what? I was right.
Yeah? What's the Sordid-Humor? Like, where's the Sordid-Humor come in?
The name of the podcast?
Yeah.
It's actually a band. I kind of stole it from a band.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Who was in that band? The lead singer of Counting Crows.
Okay.
And the guitars from Counting Crows were in there. One of my friends was actually a founding member of Counting Crows.
Okay.
Matt Malley. He actually does the theme song for the podcast. I was able to finagle one of his songs. I was like, hey, can I use this
for
the podcast? Yeah, so I don't know. I like the name and I stole it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't. I was thinking there. We'd get into some sordid humor.
Well, sometimes it's eventually it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I have big plans for this whole thing. Hopefully to build this whole thing up, and this is only going to be my 4th episode. I started 9 months ago. I started off with a few episodes, and then the last 6 months, I just haven't had time. I've been working a regular job.
Oh gosh.
I know. Up at 5 a.m. Oh. It's like, it's good insurance, and
oh, that's good.
It's a little bit getting used to after doing other things that weren't as regular.
Right.
With schedule and everything. But I gotta do what I gotta do. It is what it is for right now. For right now, it's pays decent, and it is what it is. But I don't know. Eventually I want to get a studio. I was actually thinking it might be kind of cool to have like a portable studio to get. How those tiny homes, tiny houses or whatever. They're on a little trailer. I was thinking about getting one of those, and instead of making a house, making a studio, and then hook it to a truck.
Right.
And then I can just go to my guests wherever we go into the.
Be like man on the street.
Right. Whatever. I don't know. I have all these ideas. So.
Yeah. You got a food truck down in the yard.
Oh, that's another thing. I got a food truck. I dumped my life savings into that about 3 years ago.
Oh, shit.
Dumped like $30,000 cash into that.
Well, you may as well turn it into a mobile studio.
Yeah, I just don't know what I'm going to do. And this, I cook a lot, so I thought I don't want to get a regular job,
Right.
and I don't want to have to work for somebody.
Right.
So I put my money into that. But then I ran out of funding. I still need probably like another $5,000 just to finish it out. So I ended up having to get a regular job anyways. You know, it is what it is.
Do you keep bees? I saw bees.
We just got those bees. Someone like from Sacramento came up and left a note on our fence. If you're interested in like lending us land for our bees, let us know. So we called him up and he's like, well, I'll give you cash or I can give you honey. And we're like, well, we'll take the honey.
Nice.
So we haven't got it yet, but supposedly he's going to bring like a 5-gallon bucket of honey.
Nice.
So we're actually kind of excited about that. They've only been there for like 2 weeks. A week? Not that long.
I wonder if they
They get pissed off. They're flying around.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
I wonder if they pick people based on what kind of plants are around. Like, oh, we want oak honey.
I wonder.
Or we want...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. But
I just bought some avocado honey. I drove to Vegas last week with my son. We went to the Star Trek convention.
Right.
And so we came back through this town, Beatty.
I don't know.
Little funky town in the middle of nowhere in Nevada, but beautiful, like mountains right there, like right at the foot of these craggy, beautiful mountains. And there was this little stand that had honey and beef jerky and stuff, but they had all these crazy honeys. Like they had eucalyptus honey and they had avocado honey and they had cactus honey.
It's good?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I actually bought the cactus honey. My friend bought the avocado. Yeah.
Tasty though.
Yeah, super good.
Interesting. Yeah, like I said, I cook a lot, so I'm always into new ingredients and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I had a bunch of jam and we ended up giving it out and there's barely any left, so now I got to make more jam. And
I like wild harvesting things, like out at not Pioneer Park, Western Gateway Park. There's all these little plum trees, like these sour little plums. And at the end of the season, my son and I went out and just like got buckets and buckets of them and made jam. It was really good.
That's my thing too. I'm totally into that.
Yeah, I love that kind
like
of
blackberries. Like I think we miss blackberries. Like my girlfriend went and picked some last week and she got very little. And she's like, most of them were like all gross already. I'm like, oh, we missed it by a couple weeks. Like I really was hoping to get like a shit ton of blackberries and just making a bunch of it for the year. But
it seems kind of early. Maybe it's because it's so hot or something.
Seasons are weird these days.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that food truck. I still might get it going and maybe just rent it on weekends, and we'll see. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, Sordid-Humor, that's the podcast. Stole the name.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So the Star Trek convention was awesome.
Yeah, was that?
Have you ever been a Star Trek fan?
No, I am totally. Yeah,
oh my God. It was a blast. Like I've always wanted to go to one. Like I learned to still tell time at age 3 or something, 3 or 4, by what time Star Trek came on. And at the time, at that age, I remember Star Trek came on at 6 because I remember what the 6 o'clock looked like on the clock. Back in the days before digital. And so then, like, you know, if it was an hour before that, it was an hour before Star Trek, and I could count back, and I knew it was 5 o'clock.
Wow.
You know, and like that's how I learned to tell time, based on what time Star Trek came on. Ever since I was, you know, like 3. Like
now, what is your favorite Star Trek?
My number one favorite's original.
Original?
Yeah. I'm a big fan now of the Discovery.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Really.
The trailer looked pretty badass.
Good. It's amazing.
Those newer movies weren't bad either.
Oh yeah, I like those.
The newer cast?
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
They're different, you know, they're not. You know, the same with the new series, you know, the Discovery, like, it's not very Star Trek-y in a lot of ways.
Really?
But it's awesome. It's just awesome by itself. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The costumes and the makeup, the Klingons are, like, outstanding.
Right.
And I love there's a lot of, like, depth to the Klingons now.
So where does it take place? It takes place with Pike, right? Isn't Pike the captain?
Nope. Pike is. So they're about to have another season, and so Captain Pike is going to show up in this next season.
Oh.
It's not out yet. And I just learned at the convention that Rebecca Romaine, host of Skin Wars, is going to be his number one.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool.
From the original pilot was Captain Pike. Number 1 was Majel Barrett.
Right.
So
interesting.
Rebecca Romijn's going to fill that.
That's kind of cool.
Spot. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't checked that show out. It looked pretty cool. Yeah. I like all the shows. Deep Space Nine was the only one I kind of.
Oh, really?
I couldn't get into. I tried.
It's more. There's more to it. You have to they're not as much standalone episodes. Right? Like the original Star Trek, those are all standalone, right? There's not like this overall plot arc that you have to sort of follow.
Right.
DS9 has a lot of that.
Okay. Well, it's all on Netflix now, too, I saw. I was like, maybe I'll try it again. Yeah. Like, Next Generation was a shit. Yeah. Voyager was a shit. Enterprise was... I really liked Enterprise.
Really?
With Scott Bakula.
The only one I've never really... I've watched a couple episodes and I'm like, I don't know.
It was good.
No.
I liked it.
So there was a lot of stuff at the convention that I'm like, I don't recognize this. They're like, oh, that's from Enterprise. I'm like, oh, no wonder.
You're like,
Enterprise.
I
don't watch that. But, Voyager is my son's favorite. Of course, all the people at the convention, they love this little kid running around in this Captain Kirk costume. And they'd always say, who's your favorite captain? And he'd say, oh, Janeway.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so we met Garrett Wang, and he's like super friendly, personable guy, just like out there, sort of not even behind his little table. Everyone else is behind the little table.
He's not just
he's just like out there in the hallway, not the hallway, but like the aisle, just laughing with people, and he's got people all around him, and he's joking and hugging, and he's just super fun.
It was a good. I like that series.
Yeah,
I thought that one was good.
Yeah. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah.
But so my son's favorite episode of all time is the one with the Gorn, the original series.
I don't remember that
The Gorn.
Is it on the original series?
The original, yeah. So Captain Kirk is down on this planet and he's fighting this big lizard guy. He's like the captain.
Yep.
That's the Gorn.
I remember that one.
Yeah, and then he makes a cannon and shoots like these diamonds at him or whatever. So that actor who played the Gorn was there.
Oh, that's cool.
And he got his autograph and got his picture taken with him and
How
stuff.
fun is that?
It was super exciting.
Yeah, I've never been to convention. I'm totally into like sci-fi nerdy shit though.
Yeah,
I've always been into nerdy shit.
I've always wanted to go, right?
Yeah.
But I never like allowed it to myself or whatever. Like, oh, I have to work or it costs too much money. I had some excuse to not go.
Right.
But my son is like super obsessed with Star Trek.
Wow.
Massively.
That's cool. He's into it.
Yeah, I mean, he's
such a young guy.
He dressed as Kirk for Halloween. Well, last year he was Kirk for Halloween. The year before he was Kirk riding a Gorn. He had modified a T-Rex costume to turn it into the Gorn, and then it was like Captain Kirk riding the Gorn.
That's fun.
So that was what he wanted for Christmas. That's all he asked for from Santa. Tickets to the Star Trek convention.
Wow.
So I'm like, well,
that's it.
We gotta make it happen.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was great for both of us. We had the best time.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
I've just never gone.
And they had all the sets of like the different bridges and things, and there was Quark's bar and all this. He got pictures taken with Ferengis and all these insane cosplayers with amazing outfits from every series, every iteration of the show.
That's fun.
Yeah,
people go to have a good time.
Yeah, everyone's so sweet.
Yeah,
we discovered a new game that we're now addicted to, like a Star Trek game that you can play on your phone. It's really good. It's called Adversaries. I'll do a little plug. Star Trek Adversaries. It's really fun if you're a big nerd and you like that kind of thing.
Get into it, nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love nerdy shit. I always have. I've always been into, not as much like horror. I know a lot of people are into like horror stuff.
Yeah, not me either.
I can't. My girlfriend likes zombie
it's not,
stuff.
Like, compelling.
I'm I can't get into it.
Yeah. The only zombie thing I like is iZombie. You know that show?
Yeah, she likes that show.
Because it's more like funny.
Yeah.
And it's more
I saw a few episodes.
Character driven.
It's a good show.
Yeah. I mean, like the characters are interesting. It's less about the zombies. It's more like the funny brain cooking show at the beginning of every episode. Where she's like, oh, this time I'm going to make tacos.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. She has to eat the. Yeah. I saw a few episodes of that. But like Walking Dead, I watched like 2 seasons. I was kind of like, I was like,
that's too much.
People love it, but I'm just like, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good TV out there these days, though. Yeah. I like some stuff.
If I can't get it on Netflix, I don't know about it.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is awesome.
Really? See, I haven't seen it. I've never seen one single episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't see it until like season 6 last season was around. I think they did. They're on 7, 5. I was kind of forced into watching it, and I was like, oh, okay, I like this. Yeah, I can get into it. Yeah, it's a great show. A lot of good shows. Yeah, HBO's got some really good shows. Showtime has some good shows.
I've watched a few sort of newish series, like things I can get on Amazon and get on Netflix. There's the Frankenstein with Sean Bean. Sean Bean from Lord of the Rings and from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
that one's really good.
I don't know that one. He's great. Good though.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Yeah. He's like the main character. And Babylon Berlin. It's a German show, so it's like you watch it with subtitles.
Oh, okay.
It's really good. It's like a crime drama, but it's super compelling and it's
what is that
amazing.
On Amazon?
I think it's Amazon. Can't remember now.
There's a lot of good TV. It's so hard to keep up. I have a list of shows that I watch regularly that I'm so backed up on.
Right.
Just because I just haven't had the time to sit down and watch. Like, sit and just watch
and
TV.
Most of the time the TV is on, it's because my son wants to watch something. So like I rarely get to see anything that I want to see.
That's just
like
how
I can tell you every episode of Wild Kratts.
oh, my kids used to love that. I kind of grew out of it, but my daughter's really into animals and anything. She'll pick up lizards and she'll say, Daddy, this is a whatever da type of lizard. Like she knows everything about all kinds of animals. That's just her jam is animals.
Yeah, my son's newest obsession is dinosaurs and Jurassic Park.
Sure.
He's seen all the Jurassic Park movies now. And he sits there and nerds out on all these like YouTube videos where like some Jurassic Park obsessed nerds. It's like the Trekkie level of nerddom, right? But there's like a Jurassic Park segment apparently, and they make these YouTube videos of like where the movies were accurate and where they were inaccurate, or like what would happen if you put this dinosaur with this dinosaur. Okay, well this one has all these attributes and this one has all these strengths, and then this one's got this down, and then like hypothetical like battle between the two. Like what would he just watches these videos like all day long. I'm like, oh my god, my child really is a nerd.
Well, it's crazy too, just like how you're able to do, like we think of like when we were growing up, and man, I just like we had to call someone. You had to call the house, and you had to ask for Billy. Is Billy home? And it might be busy because there was no call waiting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or you had to go to their house and knock on the door, ring the doorbell. Or
I kind of miss that.
Yeah, it's different these days. The kids just don't have no concept of what we had to go through.
Right.
Watch a video on YouTube. Like we were lucky to have a
Scooby Doo after school. Yeah.
Something. It's 3 channels. But I remember when we got cable. It was like, what? There's like 60 channels? Like, I can't believe it. Like, I just, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy being old.
I don't know that this is so much. The one thing that I think is an improvement is being able to curate what my kid watches.
Sure.
Yeah. And then like when we were in the hotel for the convention, we put on the TV, and like all these ads for other shows are coming on, or commercials for products, and like the ads for the shows some of them were like really violent or inappropriate and stuff.
I think the same thing. Like, what is this on TV? Right. What is this on regular TV? Like, is this HBO? Oh, it's not.
Yeah, it's just
It's ABC. What? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then like that's the time where he ends up seeing things that I wish he hadn't seen. It's like a commercial.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah,
it's just weird. It's just it's a weird time. It's just a weird time we're in. Yeah, it's kind of the coolest time. But it's also kind of just a weird time. There's a lot of weird shit going on in the world today.
Yeah. Yeah, I like not having regular TV and just like, let's go to Netflix and he's a big fan of David Attenborough.
Sure. Yeah, my daughter is too. Yeah. Loves all his shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can just watch like dolphins swimming and pretend, like I want to sort of keep him innocent as long as possible, and that's something else you can't really do in a city.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't watch regular TV rarely. Luckily, I know, my mother's always calling me, did you hear about this and that in the world? No.
Right.
But if zombie apocalypse happens, I'm sure someone will let me know.
Right. Yeah, I always tell people
like,
that
let me know.
Like, hey, you know what? If you shut off the news, you're still going to be an informed citizen, I promise you.
Right. You're right.
But you're also going to be a lot less anxious.
Right. It's all negative anyways.
Yeah.
I just try to stay positive. And
yep, I'm the same way.
be honest. Like you said, you got to be honest with yourself, with whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
Just be positive, be honest. If everyone could do a little bit more of that,
right,
there'd be a lot better people, better days in the world. I don't know.
Yeah, I keep trying. I am sort of a big advocate for turning off the news. Like, I've been trying to. Like, I've got a couple of friends that are just in these just torturous pits of despair right now, but then they're like constantly like checking the news and whatever, and it's like, well, God, just leave that alone for a while. Like, it'll be there when you come back. Right. But you're making yourself sick.
Yeah. You don't need to always be on your phone, and you don't need to always be on your phone when we're eating dinner.
Right. Right.
You don't need to. You don't always have to.
Right. If the president says or does some like jackass effed up thing, you don't need to know about it the second it happens.
Right.
Like, you can find out.
He's gonna do a bunch of it more to what I mean.
3 hours from now, it'll still be there.
Right. There's all kinds of shit he's gonna do that you probably aren't gonna be happy with. I think the people that voted him in aren't happy, but what are you gonna do? You just gotta let him do his thing. That's another thing.
Speaking of TV shows.
Yeah.
That reminded me. Okay, so there's a show on, I think it's on Amazon. It's called Electric Dreams.
Okay.
And it's they've made little episodes of shows based on short stories by Philip K. Dick.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
I do not.
Alien? No. No. Sorry, Blade Runner.
Okay. Yeah.
Blade Runner.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. He did Blade Runner. God, they've made movies out of a few of his stuff, but his stuff is always sort of this like, watch out for technology, slightly dystopian kind of, technology is going to screw you. What was it? Screamers?
Yeah. I remember that
was
one.
him.
I remember that.
Yeah. So the last episode of that. They made 10 of them or something. Watch the last one.
What is it called again?
It's called Electric Dreams.
Electric Dreams.
Yeah, and it's about it focuses on this one dude, but he goes to his job and he's got a few friends he works with at his job, and there's an election about to happen, and there's only one candidate. Right, and they're they call her the candidate. They don't even say her name. The candidate.
Right.
And she's talking about how great the one-party system is, and da 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 da. But then, but then she's doing her campaign speech and slips something in there, and no one else seems to notice it. And he's freaking out, trying to find. He's they've got to call her on that. They have to. And no one, he's checking his phone and he's checking all the social media, and no one's saying anything. And he's oh my God, she slipped it in. No one's noticing. No one's reacting. No one's getting pissed. And then she brings it out a little more, and then she brings it out a little more, and it's like the frog in the boiling water, to where everyone's just thinks it's been there the whole time. But I don't want to give it away.
Right. Yeah.
So you gotta see it.
Wow.
Electric Dreams is the very last episode, and it's what's happening now.
Right.
It gave me the chills. It was that's scarier than any zombie show, really.
Right. But there's not, there's really just, I don't know what can be done about the current situation in the world. I just don't know.
You just got, you've gotta just find your corner of the world and make it as great as you can.
That's it.
And try to do good things that ripple out.
Right.
That's the only thing you can do. And
if everyone does that, it's going to be all right.
Yeah, because you can't control what's happening.
No.
On the other side of the country, on the other side of the world, there's so many things you can't control, so don't.
Right.
I mean, they're bad, but you can't make yourself sick over them. Just focus on your little corner and make it good, and try to ripple it out as much.
I just hear all these people. Me personally, I didn't vote at all. I didn't like either choice. But with Trump in, it's kind of by wanting him to fail is like wanting us to fail at this point.
Right.
So it's
I want him to just get his shit together and
everyone should really just hope he gets his shit together. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But saying you want him to fail is like, well, no. At that point, you want us to fail because he is us now.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
I get scared, man. I just get scared. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're kind of up in the hills.
I really do hope. I really do hope that like the people around him,
right,
can get him to stop doing some certain things and get him to start doing certain other things, and can sort of bring him up, or at least take care of some things.
Yeah, it's scary. I don't know. It's
just
one of those things.
That's the best thing I can hope for right now. Is that he'll end up with some people around him that can make things.
Yeah. That's all we can do is hope for the best. We're kind of in a weird spot. The whole world is. It's interesting. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I was just doing a body paint yesterday on a friend, and he had the TV on, right? And I'm not used to that. And it was the news. And it was, talking about this white supremacist rally thing that's going to happen and stuff. I'm like, how is this happening? And it's like that episode where it's like, it just got snuck in and snuck in and snuck in until now it's like almost okay or something.
Yeah. It's kind of like this day and age, it's there's people that still, I guess if you're raised like that is what it is,
Yeah.
It's taught. It's all taught. All that shit's taught. You're not born that way.
Right. And, I gotta say, people are so upset about all this stuff, but I can't help but see like there's got to be a positive side, and everything does happen for a reason, right? And you may go through a painful patch for a while,
right?
But it's necessary to like get the poison out.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah.
Like right now, all the poison's coming to the surface, and then only then can we.
I kind of feel the same way, to be honest. You just got to look at it positive. Do your best to look positive, because it's.
Yeah. Because all these decades, these people have been in the shadows.
Right. I know.
And now it's like we brought the boil to a head. Now we can just lance it and squeeze the poison out, and hopefully be better at
the whole system needs a revamp. Let's be real.
Yeah.
The whole thing was, invented when they used to write with pens that were feathers, with ink and a part. It just needs a revamp. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, we've got to. There's this aversion to change that I think is a big, like
laws. Once they're in place and people are making money off those laws, you can't really get rid of those laws.
Right.
Those laws that
everyone's resistant to losing their own personal way of life, even like coal.
Yeah.
It's like, well, come on, we got to let go of it eventually.
Right.
Like, you may as well like innovate and grow and stop trying to hang on to this like dying little thing. It's like, I'm a rotary phone salesman and I'm super pissed and I'm going to try and lobby the government to try and like outlaw cell phones because I want my rotary phone business to thrive again or something.
Funny.
It's just kooky.
That's funny. Oh man. Yeah, we need more positivity, which is what you do. I mean, your thing is positive, right?
Try.
It makes people happy. Yeah. I would assume. Who doesn't like badass art? Badass art makes you happy. Yeah. That's cool.
It brings people together. I just did an event at the Crocker Art Museum in Sacramento. The other day, and I was body painting at that. It was really super fun, cool event, and I had a friend of mine there with me. His name's Rich Diltz, and he was doing this thing called Project Wordplay, and he brought some models in and he painted words on them, like really positive words like light and joy and magic and all these things, and then he had some of the smaller like connective words like if and with and on their hands and on their shoulders and stuff, and then the guests were coming up like I could not believe how many women were just completely taking their shirts off and bras and like
just ready to go
and paint it,
right?
Like it was a really fun party. But so then they were getting words, and he had a little photo booth set up, and then people were getting pictures with like putting the words together, like the magnet poetry.
Wow.
And so they were making little sentences and stuff. It was really neat. I can't wait to see the finished, because I can only see it out of the corner of my eye while I was doing what I was doing. But
that's cool.
They were into it, man. Like there was a long line of people ready to take their shirts off and.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Neat, yeah, and it made like there was so much energy going on over there. It was really powerful.
Now, do you ever switch roles and be the canvas for people? Nope.
I have way too much underboob sweat.
Oh, that's funny. Like, nope, I'm the artist.
Yeah, no. Nope. Too many folds.
Nope, not going to be the canvas.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Underboob is like the bane of a body painter's existence.
Right.
Really. Like when it flops over like that, then it's like it messes up the lines. It sweats. It's like,
paint doesn't stay on there.
Yeah. When it gets sweaty. Yeah. So
what are you gonna do?
I try to get like models with ballerina boobies, little ones. Those are the best.
Easier to work with, right?
Yeah, way easier. Yeah.
Or like men, or is it easier to work with men?
Men are
okay, let's talk about that. Canvases. That is what you prefer then? Is there a certain canvas that you feel is better to work on, and is that the ideal canvas?
Yeah.
Thinner, just because of that reason?
Thinner, but yeah, I mean, like if you're a bigger gal but you've got smaller boobs, I'm into it.
So the boobs is the issue really when it comes to painting?
Because they move around and stuff. And,
got it.
Like if you're doing some, I don't know, usually you want your lines to kind of match up on a design.
Got it.
And that can be challenging. That's not my favorite thing to try and deal with.
Okay.
And then the sweat is a problem. But I've painted all different sizes and stuff, and you just try to modify the design, or I try to modify the design based on what I'm working with. But if I'm going to do something like for a photo shoot or like for a corporate event, for corporate events too, like more athletic build tends to, I think, is better for that, because this is kind of a weird phenomenon, but I think it, for the viewers, for the guests of the party, it's less of like a voluptuous body. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like people, I think, get more uncomfortable around a body that's more like curvy.
Right.
Because then it's more like a human body. But if you take someone with a real athletic build and then you cover them with paint, then they can kind of just see it as like a piece of art.
Right.
But if it's
like a superhero.
But if it's got more curves, then it's like, it's a body and it's naked. Like like it's
me.
Yeah.
Like it's 90% of us that live in the world. Right. Yeah. You aren't perfect.
You kind of, in a way, at a corporate event especially, you want it to seem less human, less what's the word I'm looking for? Like sensual.
Got it.
You want, a more curvy body is more sensual.
Right. Yeah. It's about the art.
Yeah.
Right. Now, is there people? Do they always have underwear on, or is it like sometimes they're completely naked and they're like?
I don't do completely naked.
Like
I'm not
spray my junk.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
But is there people that do that?
There are people that do that, and I see those pictures. Sometimes I'll look around online at images, and I'll see stuff where like a lot of times. I see these things where it's like a soccer player kind of jersey, whatever, you know, and like the girl's got her leg up on a soccer ball or whatever, and she's like totally naked with just paint on it. I'm like, why would you? That doesn't even look good. Like, why?
Okay, so there is people that do that.
There are people that do that. I don't know what kind of a living they make at it.
Sure, right.
I don't know, maybe they just say, hey, I'm a body painter. I want to do a photo shoot just for an excuse to.
Like, you're not going to get on TV that way. You're not going to like.
It's not my thing.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I have painted junk before, man junk.
Right.
I painted for the pilot for a gay porn.
Oh, there we go.
And it was called Demonic Sex, and these guys had to look sort of like demons, so they were kind of different colors, and they had like prosthetics and stuff on, and they had like these woolly chaps with like goat hoofs.
Right, okay.
You know, but then the junk was out,
And you had to paint the junk.
Yep.
Okay, well, but normally not.
Normally, no.
Got it.
For like my performance.
Depending on how well it pays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, yeah, if I'm getting paid.
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, okay.
But yeah, my primary market is the corporate events, and
Sure.
they don't tend to want to see people's junk.
No. Yeah.
I usually end up making a lot of costume pieces.
Okay.
I
Sure.
just did some gold statues for an event where they wanted sort of like awards statues looking thing.
Right.
So I made these kind of Art Deco loincloth things.
Okay.
And, and I made some like little matching crowns and little matching.
Well, that's cool.
Like gladiator sandal things. Okay. And I put jewels, and I gave them like little staff to hold and stuff, so that it looked, so it wasn't like a guy in his underwear.
Right. Yeah. It's good to have those extra.
Yeah. So that's part of what I do now. Like I make a lot of like headpieces and little costume things.
Well, that's fun
and
though.
Stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I craft foam.
And the women, they cover the nipples most of the time, anyways, right? Don't they have like a little?
Yeah. I mean, I always do pasties.
Like pasties.
But for corporate events, pasties isn't enough. They always want some. So I make like these little like things with leaves or flowers or shells or whatever, and those kind of stick on, and it covers the whole bristle area.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting. It's just an interesting art form.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Especially in America, I would assume it's different. Like you were saying, Europe, they're just more open maybe to certain things.
Yeah.
And America is more uptight. Like.
Yeah, definitely. We're descended from Puritans.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like making. I mean, like for me, like now that this one event production company that I've been working with that's been stretching me and putting me outside my comfort zone and doing a lot of cool different things that I'm not used to. Because their clients are all corporate clients, they always want some kind of modesty thing going on. So now I'm sort of laughing because I've always been doing an art project like my whole life. I've always had some art project, like taking over the kitchen table since I was a little kid, and so now like that's what I'm doing now. Like all the time I'm like my job is extreme crafting. Like that's what I do.
That's a good way of putting that.
And like I made these headpieces. I love them. I want to make more that are like, they were supposed to be like magical deer people.
Okay.
Like Midsummer Night's Dream kind of. And so I made these headpieces that light up. They have little lights in them and mushrooms and lichen and twigs and all this stuff. But then they've got these deer antlers and deer ears. And I just made them out of craft foam. I tried all these different ways to make antlers. And I was looking on Pinterest and I was looking online and like all these different things. And I was trying some of them and it wasn't working for me. And then I had this thought and I just got thick craft foam, like from Ben Franklin or whatever. And I glued layers together, like 4 layers of it. So it was like a thick stack. And cut out the shape of the antler that I wanted, and then I used the Dremel to round it. And then I used hot glue to make the texture, like at the root of the horn where it grows, it has little bumps. I just did that with a hot glue gun, and then I painted it.
Wow.
And they look totally real, and they look
creative
amazing.
Shit.
Because like nothing else was working.
Right. You just had to figure it out.
Yeah. So I was just trial and error. I do a lot of trial and error.
Right. So it doesn't always turn out great the first time.
Yeah. No, I have a few pairs of retarded antlers that I tried to make that didn't work. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Next pair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So now this is like and they're super lightweight. It makes the headpieces really light.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then like in the ears, I used the hot glue gun to make the little veins.
Oh.
And so they have that. They look really real, and it's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So, like I just have so much of that stuff around now.
Right. It's kind of cool though. You got a cool gig what you do.
I like what I do.
Yeah.
Like I get to make art. That's what I've wanted. That's like all I've wanted my whole life.
It's just to be a performer and an artist.
Yeah.
And just spread the joy.
I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
That this is what I get to do.
Right. And you really are. And I'm glad that you're financially doing a little bit better than you were. That's awesome.
But I've always been like more content to be broke and doing this than to try and be doing.
You want enough to pay your bills though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want enough to like buy what you need and not be worried about where rent's going to come from type of thing.
Yeah, I still worry sometimes.
Yeah, that's
I had to borrow from my dad this month, but some other months
you're ahead.
Yeah, I'm ahead. So that's sort of the nature of this work is it comes in clumps.
Right.
And then you get these dried areas, dry spells.
Figure a way to like you said, have a staff and have a full company going. That'd be the hopefully
that's
you get
the direction.
Right. You're going in the right direction.
Little by little,
Yeah.
But I look back and I go, oh my God, I have spent my entire adult life doing what I said I wanted to do.
Right.
And that's what really blessing.
That's kind of what matters.
So lucky.
Yeah. Okay, so when on the show, do you have a chance to have one-on-one time with the judges?
No.
Do you have any time with Ru and just be like, hey, what's up, RuPaul?
No, we were not allowed to talk to anybody.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes we couldn't even talk to each other.
Oh, wow. There's
a thing called, there's these terms in reality TV you may have heard, hard ice and soft ice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So soft ice, we can talk to each other, but we can't talk about anything about the show. If you say one little thing about the show, they shut you down. Mm-hmm. Hard ice is you can't say anything. Dead silent. We would just sit there and we would play cards and not talk or whatever. Sometimes we were building things out of toothpicks.
Man.
Because we'd be hours sometimes in that little room. I mean, that room smelled
I know someone cuts a fart. It's like, oh, come on.
A million things.
Come on.
Yeah, everything that happened in that room stayed in that room.
Right.
The couches started to smell bad.
Oh,
and we ate our own meals in there. And, it was...
It would have been nice.
We weren't allowed to talk to any of the other
Bummer.
people.
That would have been nice to, just chat it up a little bit.
I get to chat with Rebecca Romaine a little.
Yeah.
Between takes or something.
Sure.
She came over and sat next to me and chatted a little bit, but they tended to frown on that.
Bummer.
Yeah.
It's production. It's just
we were talking about being naked.
Oh, right.
Because, we had one guy on our episode who was to be naked all the time.
What was that?
His name was Michael. He's the one with the antlers.
Yeah.
That he tried to,
Oh, he was always naked. I don't.
Yeah.
They don't really show
Yeah,
that
he was always naked. One of the producers, that would come to our house. Uh-huh. She was just like, "Look, I don't want to have to see that."
Right.
That was too much for her.
Put it away.
Yeah. The rest of us didn't really mind.
Right.
But so that she was just like, when I'm at home, I never have clothes on either.
Yeah. I mean, she was kind of like the original, Rebecca with that whole. With the X-Men and everything?
Oh, I was even before that. The Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue with the body paint. She was the very first.
Yeah, I was thinking more
very
just
first.
The Mystique role would be day in and day out having to put, I don't know, this probably looks like more latex or something.
Yeah, I still don't know it does look like latex.
Something. But that's got to be uncomfortable.
But yeah, she's the original body painted swimsuit Sports Illustrated model.
Interesting. She seems cool.
She's super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just the little I did get to talk to her.
Sure.
She's so fun. And her and Ru had some great rapport.
Man, that guy.
The two of them were just cracking us up. The episode we did with the painted on jeans, it was just the two of them that day.
Right.
The other two didn't come in for that challenge at all. And those two were hilarious. I mean, they only could air 2%.
Sure, I bet.
Because it just... You can only fit so much into an episode, but those two were just riffing, going on and on, and the whole vagines, the name of that was a whole routine, and they only got to show a second of it.
God!
The two of them had this whole vagines routine that they had come up with.
I bet the outtakes are great.
Oh my God! They should put out outtakes.
Do a bonus episode, just outtakes.
Seriously, because there's some funny shit.
That's funny. And then what happened to the show? It just didn't get picked up again for the fourth season?
I'm not really privy to all of that, but I think part of it is they weren't really into Game Show Network as a platform for it.
Sure.
I think because no one watches that channel.
Bummer.
Yeah.
I think they would have tried to take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
They should make it into a Netflix original or something.
Bummer.
It would be great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I think the producers are like, we're kind of butting their heads up against a wall for a while, and then just we're like, I got to move on to another project.
Yeah, sometimes they get like that.
That's my feeling. I'm not privy to all of this, but I'm just making a guess.
Right. Bummer.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, it was a good show. I mean, it opened up, so I didn't even really know anything about it until the show.
And I'm friends with people from all the other episodes too. Like I've managed to meet them. And,
right. A lot of good artists over those 3 seasons.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
I've gotten the opportunity to hire Natalie and Lana a couple of times.
Oh wow, yeah, so they're both good.
Yeah, that's winner from season 1 and the winner from season 2.
For sure.
And the should have been winner from season 3.
Right. Now, do you work with any of the other ones from your season, like Rick or anything, or no?
I've actually got not hired, worked alongside Hans.
Okay.
From my season.
Okay.
He's down in LA, and he works with a production company that does big events and stuff, and so they put on the company party for Snapchat.
Okay.
Down at the Santa Monica Pier every summer. So I've done that with him a couple of times.
He was really good. I feel like
he's great.
He maybe wasn't, I don't know if it was editing and production or whatever. I think it just seemed like he didn't come across too great through the show.
Yeah, I think he's a little awkward on camera. He got
Maybe
a little awkward on camera.
Maybe that was it.
And then they ended up making it look like he was a jerk, but he wasn't.
Right.
At all.
I kind of got the feeling he wasn't.
Yeah. He's a sweet dude, and he's kind of like he's sort of, I think, like a sensitive artist.
Oh, yeah.
And things got to him.
Right. But he was like a legit artist, it seemed like.
Yeah,
he was like, I don't care, it's about the art and that's it.
Right. Yeah.
Which is
definitely
cool. And
I gotta say, in his defense, there's, I think, one of the turning points for him was the episode where we did the mural, the team mural thing. And that was the episode where they started trying to make us turn on each other.
Oh, right.
A little bit. And they were the first ones to present their piece. And he was all proud and happy and super excited about this great collaboration he'd done with Rick. And then they were like, okay, now you two throw each other under the bus. And all of a sudden, he changed. And he was just like, I fucking hate you people now. Right.
Yeah.
And just this darkness came, it made him really mad. It made him really mad,
Right.
And everything kind of changed a little bit that episode all of a sudden. And it took them forever to shoot it because no one wanted to say anything bad about their partner.
Right.
And they were like, come on, you guys, come on. And we're like, just tight-lipped, and no one wanted to say anything, and they were like trying to...
damn producers.
I know. And, but it kind of sucked that Rick won that one, because if you look at Hans's work, like his mural work, that piece looks like 100% Hans. Right. You can tell he designed that whole thing, and Rick just did what he told him to. Right. I mean,
bummer.
Look him up. Look up his work, and that piece is totally him. Yeah. Through and through.
There's a handful of people.
Because he wouldn't talk shit and say, "Hey, I'm supposed to win this one." Right. They gave it to the other guy.
Yeah. It was almost sometimes you just gotta play that game.
I know, and he's like, I will not play your game.
Right.
I will not. And that kind of that was the start of the end for him.
Well, it's kind of cool you're in contact with a lot of the people, though. Yeah, that's cool.
Definitely. And
little community.
We have a little group thread too, so
cool.
Every once in a while we all start chiming in.
Right. That's awesome.
If it's someone's birthday or someone has some kind of milestone, like Brittany's baby.
Sure. Yeah. Shout out to Brittany and her baby.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't know how long we've been doing this, but I can get you out of here. I know you got things to do.
Sure.
What? You got anything you want to plug?
Sure. Yeah. My website, AlisonKenyon.biz, is with one LALISONKENYON.biz. I have, if you log in there, there's a little subscription, subscribe thing. If you subscribe there, you get access to a free tutorial video. It's a 4-part tutorial on
Awesome.
just sort of the basics,
Okay.
like the things like if you went to a body painting convention or a face painting convention and took a class, this is the stuff that they would not cover because they assume you already know it.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
It's like how to keep your cakes clean, what brands to use, what kind of brushes to use, how to load your brush, all that, like really basic beginner stuff that most tutorials won't cover because, like I said, they assume you already know it.
That's badass.
Yeah, and it's the kind
really
of thing
cool.
that a lot of beginners are struggling with.
Right.
And I sort of took this idea from messages I've been getting from fans that have tried to start and they're having these struggles. So I created this 4-part little video.
Awesome.
It got a little pixelated because I had trouble downloading it and it got really compressed, but it still has all the good information in it.
Okay.
And I'll get better at the tech, I promise.
Awesome.
The future videos will get better, but yeah, if you go there, it's free. Go check it out.
Awesome. Okay. You on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of that?
Yeah, my Instagram is the thing I've been using the most, and that's just bodymasterpiece_body painting.
There we go.
Yeah.
I love Instagram. I try to get people on it, and I'm like, it's so easy. You don't have to deal with anyone's real bullshit. You either got some video or some pictures, and that's it. No one's weird. Sometimes on Facebook, they get the agenda where it's like too much of, I don't know, preachy about stuff. Like sometimes I just want to see some pictures. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Instagram.
Yeah, it's a great business tool. Like I mean,
Right. Yeah.
I think of it that way, but it is. It's fun to like the people I follow that I think are cool, like some cosplayers and other body artists and stuff
Right.
like that. I love what you're doing.
Right.
Like I get to just go, hey, click. I love what you're doing.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. Down the road, maybe we'll do it again sometime.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Badass. Cool. Thank you.
Bye.